Today in algebra we started learning on tab 5 about inequalities, and this little tab is going to seem like it doesn't relate to systems that much, but it really does in the long run. We'll learn systems of inequalities tomorrow. Before we can do that, we're going to do this little section on just when it's just talking about one inequality. So we'll start by writing out the steps on the front side of your foldable. Step number 1 is to solve for y. Step number 2 is to graph the boundary line. And when we graph the boundary line, we're going to use y equals mx plus b because that's how we graph lines. The line will be solid if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, and it will be dashed or dotted if it's less than or greater than. The third and final step is to shade. We're going to shade above if it's greater than or equal to, and I'm also going to put that the y has to be there so that the big part is facing the y. And we're going to shade below if it's y is less than or y is less than or equal to. Make sure that's in your view. Okay, that's how we can tell what to do. Part A is to check for solutions. We did this when we just talked about equations and systems of equations. So this is the same concept except in inequality, meaning they're not equal. For example number 1, if my ordered pair is 7, 3, and my inequality is y is less than x minus 1, I can plug in my x and y values to figure out if it is or is not a solution. So my y value is 3, my x value is 7, so that goes in there. 7 minus 1 is 6. 3 is less than 6, so yes, this one is a solution. Let's try another one. Example number 2. If my solution is 4, 5, and my inequality is y is less than x plus 1, I'm going to plug in what I see. My y value is 5. My x value is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. And my question to myself should be, is 5 less than 5? No, it is not. So that one is not a solution. Now, on the back side, we're going to do part B. And that is how to graph. That's what we wrote those steps down for. So how to graph inequalities. Example number 1 is y is less than 3x plus 4. Step 1 was to solve for y. That's already been done. Step 2 was to graph the boundary line. So we're going to draw an x and y axis. I'm going to start by going about 5 each way. And I know I may have to extend here in a second. I'm going to use my y-intercept, which is 4. I'm going to put a point there on the y-axis. Then I'm going to use my slope, which is 3, or 3 over 1. Remember, I want it to be a fraction, so I can do rise over run. From there, I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. I need to do that again, so I'm going to have to add some more values. So at 3 and over 1, now I've got 3 points, so I can make a line. Notice this inequality is a strictly less than, so there is no line under, so it's going to be a dotted or dashed line. So I draw my dashed line. The smaller part is facing the y, so it's shade below. And when I think about below, think of this line as a mountain. Whatever side you could walk on is the above side, so then we know that the right would be below. And so all of my solutions are here. Let me clarify what that means for you. Anything on this side of the line works as a solution. So any point I pick, no matter where it is, would work as a solution as long as it's in the shaded region. Anything in the non-shaded region would not be a solution. Okay? Let's look at one more example, number 2. 3x plus 2y is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, step 1, solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. 2y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 6. Divide both sides by 2. And remember, you have to divide everything by 2. Y is greater than or equal to. Now, the negative 3 halves does not reduce, and we want it to be a fraction anyway, so we'll just leave it. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. I've got it in y equals form. I'm going to draw my graph. I'm going to start at my y-intercept, which is 3, and use my slope, which is negative 3 over 2, so I'm going to go down 3 and over 2. Remember that negative tells me to move down, and then I always move to the right. The line underneath tells me that it's a solid line that I'm going to draw. And the greater part is near the y, so I'm going to shade above the line. So all of my solutions are in this region here. Your assignment is A7, and that was page 418, numbers 2 to 8 and 12 to 18. And that's a little bit of each type on part A and part B. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.